More than 2.5 years after the murders, the pain's still overwhelming. The off-campus apartment where the attacks took place is gone. Plaques and balloons, a small memorial where it once stood. It's summer break for the University of Idaho, but for many, there is no break from the fear and loss after what happened here.
Never really locked my doors at night before, and I have ever since. Well, I think the town is healing, but I don't think it'll ever be the same.
Hello, welcome back to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles. Today we're diving deep into a case that shook a quiet college town to its core and left the nation reeling: the tragic events in Moscow, Idaho. This story has so many layers, so many twists, and some truly perplexing details that continue to puzzle experts and the public alike. Before we unravel these mysteries, I invite you to grab a cup of coffee and settle in for this thrilling true crime story. I'd love to know where you're watching this video from. Let me know in the comments. Don't hesitate to join the conversation too. Your thoughts and input are a vital part of this story. Welcome to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles, where all our stories are based on true crimes. Kindly support us by subscribing to this channel and turn on the notification bell icon so you won't miss any of our newest stories. The serene landscape of Moscow, Idaho, often depicted as the quintessential American college town, was brutally disrupted on November 13, 2022. A community that prided itself on safety and a small-town feel was shattered by a quadruple homicide, an unthinkable act of violence that claimed the lives of 4 University of Idaho students: Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. The sheer brutality of the attack sent shockwaves far beyond Idaho, sparking one of the most intensely scrutinized murder investigations in recent memory. What made this tragedy even more unsettling was the eventual arrest of a suspect who seemed to embody a disturbing paradox. 7 weeks after the killings, authorities apprehended Bryan Kohberger, a 28-year-old PhD student in criminology from nearby Washington State University. The man studying the very nature of criminal behavior now stands accused of committing a crime of shocking brutality. While a plea has been entered and details have emerged, there are still aspects of this case that leave many of us scratching our heads. So let's explore 5 things that simply don't seem to add up in the Bryan Kohberger case. Number 1. The absence of a clear motive and connection. One of the most perplexing aspects of this entire saga is the apparent lack of any established connection between Bryan Kohberger and his 4 alleged victims. When the legal documents were unsealed, there was no indication of any prior relationship between the criminology student and Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. This vacuum of information has allowed a multitude of theories about motive to emerge, but none have been officially confirmed by investigators or the prosecution. Think about it. In many high-profile cases, investigators quickly establish a link: a personal vendetta, a robbery gone wrong, a domestic dispute. Here, we have none of that. It's not just puzzling, it's deeply unsettling. Why these 4 students? Was it a random act of violence, or was there some hidden, unknown connection that has yet to be revealed? The prosecution has not offered a clear, singular motive, which leaves a significant gap in understanding the why behind such a horrific act. This lack of a discernible link forces us to grapple with the disturbing possibility of a truly unprovoked attack, making the randomness of it all even more terrifying. Without a clear motive, it's harder to comprehend the perpetrator's state of mind or what drove them to commit such an atrocity. This missing piece continues to be a central point of discussion and speculation, even as the legal proceedings move forward. 2. The criminology student's apparent forensic blunders. This point truly baffles many observers. Bryan Kohberger was a PhD student in criminology. He was, by all accounts, deeply immersed in the study of criminal behavior, investigative techniques, and forensic science. Yet, in the aftermath of the alleged crimes, crucial evidence was seemingly left behind that directly pointed to him. Consider the knife sheath found on Madison Mogen's bed. This tan leather Ka-Bar knife sheath, bearing the United States Marine Corps symbol, reportedly contained a single source of male DNA on its button snap. For someone studying crime, someone who expressed interest in understanding how law enforcement collects and analyzes technological data in public safety operations, leaving such a critical piece of evidence at the scene seems like an egregious oversight. This raises several questions. Did he panic in the heat of the moment, forgetting the very principles he studied? Was it a moment of arrogance, believing he was too clever to be caught? Or, and this is a more controversial theory, was there some subconscious desire to be identified? It just doesn't align with the image of a meticulous academic, supposedly well-versed in avoiding detection. It's a glaring inconsistency that continues to fuel debate and speculation about his actions and mindset during the attack. The fact that a criminology student would make such a fundamental error in a crime of this magnitude is a significant element that simply doesn't quite fit the narrative. Number 3. The survivor's delayed discovery and call to 911. The timeline of events following the murders presents another perplexing aspect, particularly concerning the actions of the surviving roommates. The attack reportedly occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. on November 13, 2022. Yet the 911 call from the residents wasn't placed until approximately noon that day, nearly 8 hours later. Court documents have since shed some light on the immediate aftermath, revealing panicked text messages between the two surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. Dylan reportedly texted Bethany around 4:22 a.m. saying, "Someone's in the house," and later described seeing a man in a ski mask. Bethany urged her to come to my room. This sequence of events raises significant questions. Why the substantial delay in contacting authorities? What prevented them from immediately calling for help, especially after witnessing a masked intruder? The confusion and fear are understandable, but the passage of so many hours before law enforcement was alerted is a detail that many find hard to reconcile. It's a tragic part of the timeline that leaves a lingering question mark, despite the intense fear and shock they must have experienced. This delay is a crucial point that many viewers question when trying to understand the full picture of that fateful morning. Number 4. The white Hyundai Elantra's multiple passes. The movements of the white Hyundai Elantra, later identified as Bryan Kohberger's vehicle, on the night of the murders are a significant piece of evidence, but they also present a curious pattern. Surveillance footage captured the car making multiple passes by the King Road residents in the early morning hours, starting around 3:29 a.m. The vehicle was seen making 3 separate passes before stopping in front of the house at 4:04 a.m. performing a 3-point turn, and then passing by once more. Why multiple passes? If the intention was to commit a crime, why draw attention to the vehicle by circling the location repeatedly? This behavior could suggest casing the residence, but the repeated nature of it seems almost counterproductive for someone attempting to remain undetected. It doesn't scream covert operation. It's a detail that stands out and raises questions about the alleged perpetrator's strategy, or perhaps lack thereof, in the lead-up to the attack. Was it indecision, a final reconnaissance, or something else entirely? These repeated passes are a detail that stands out to investigators and the public, adding another layer of intrigue to the pre-crime activities. 5. The post-crime phone activity and selfie. Finally, the alleged actions of Bryan Kohberger after the murders, as presented in court, also raise significant eyebrows. Idaho County Prosecutor Bill Thompson detailed how Kohberger returned to the crime scene just a few hours after the stabbings, but before the bodies were discovered. His phone was reportedly tracked to the residence around 9 a.m., where it remained for approximately 10 minutes, before he returned to his dormitory at Washington State University. Perhaps even more chilling is what allegedly happened once he was back at his dorm. According to reports, the normally stoic Kohberger took a selfie of himself grinning while making a thumbs-up gesture. This behavior, if true, is incredibly unsettling and seemingly out of character for someone who would later be described as socially awkward with a dead stare. The return to the crime scene and the alleged selfie raise profound questions about his state of mind. Was it a desire to survey his work, a bizarre act of defiance or triumph? The stark contrast between the brutal act and this seemingly nonchalant or even celebratory post-crime behavior creates a jarring dissonance that is difficult to reconcile. It's a detail that many find particularly disturbing and adds a layer of psychological complexity to an already horrifying case. The Bryan Kohberger case is a harrowing reminder of how quickly peace can be shattered, even in seemingly safe communities. While a suspect has been apprehended and a plea entered, these 5 points represent just some of the lingering questions that continue to swirl around this tragic event. The pursuit of justice for Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan is ongoing, and as the legal proceedings continue, perhaps more answers will emerge to these perplexing details. What are your thoughts on these aspects of the case? Do you have theories that might explain them? Share your insights in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive compelling, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with others who are interested in true crime, and don't forget to subscribe to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles for more stories that explore the darkest corners of human behavior. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant.